Okay.
Yeah, when I told Commissioner to sit, and then I'll call each of you and get you to stand up so they can see you.
Okay.
And focus on you, and then when you're done, sit down and we'll move on to the next step. Yeah, is that microphone's live for the room? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, she's going to get an extension cord right now. So
Perfect. So we got to wait for that.
Just wait for the extension cord. And
Yeah, I didn't even know that was there. That's good. Good to know. Oh, I knew. Okay. Well, Yeah, I think
We're going to speak.
we'll each speak at some point, and when we speak, we'll go to that microphone to speak. Didn't know we were going to have that option, so that's good. Slide this guy over here. No, I don't want those over there. Here, give me one of those.
Which one? This?
little guys.
You
Yeah.
got it.
Thank you.
You don't need this?
You just, please put them.
Make sure you get the best spot possible as our mainstream news media. Did I tell you we passed an ordinance about that as a transition district?
We're not going to
To
come back.
recognize you as news media.
Don't do that to us. Perfect.
Let me slide it.
We're just joking.
Oh, I know, dude.
Check, check, check. 1, 2. 1, 2. That's loud. All right, y'all ready? Time to go work. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about time for us to begin. First and foremost, welcome to the city of St. George. We will begin this press conference like we intend to begin every single meeting you will have in the city of St. George with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. To follow the Pledge of Allegiance every day in the city of St. George, we will also say a prayer. A little word about this prayer. This prayer sat on my desk for many years now, and it's given me a lot of comfort through a lot of the struggles and trials that we have encountered on this journey to get here today. It's something that I think embodies not only the entire process, but so many people that were part of this process for the last decade. This is a prayer that was attributed to St. Mother Teresa. So if you bear with me here, I'm going to read it. In the name of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen. The prayer is called Do It Anyway. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Build it anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it'll never be enough. But give your best anyway. And the final analysis is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. And Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. We've all prepared some short statements today. We also have some of our elected members of our area that are here with us today. Councilman Dwight Hudson, that's been a big, strong supporter from us from the very beginning. Councilwoman Lori Adams, right over here, has also been supporting us. I think I saw Representative Emily Chenevert from District 56. If I missed anybody else, I apologize, but we're very happy that you're here. You know, if we added up all the people that went to every one of our transition meetings for the last 2 years, it wouldn't equal the amount of people that are in the room today. So we're very excited, very excited. So this journey towards incorporation has never been about division. It's rather been a testament to the resilience and unity of our community. Throughout this entire process, we have listened to the voices of our residents, honoring their aspirations and concerns alike. As we embark on this new chapter, we do so with a shared vision of unity and cooperation. We envision a community built on family and faith. We recognize that our strength lies in our diversity, and it's through dialogue and collaboration that we will build a bright future for generations to come for East Baton Rouge Parish. Thank you all for everybody that's here today, and in particular, thank you for all that have been with us on this journey up until this point. But make no mistake about it, our work is just beginning. If you think that this is a victory lap and a celebration, all we are doing is recognizing that we have gotten to a certain point, but the real work will begin today moving forward. So I hope some of those same people that were on the journey with us the last 11 years have a little bit of gas left in the tank for what's yet to come. So thank you all for being here, and I'll kick it back to Drew.
Now we'll hear from one of the petitioners for the incorporation of St. George, Vice Chairman Chris Riles.
Again, thank you all for being here. I'm overwhelmed with your presence and very pleased that so many of our supporters have chosen to take time out of your day to be here. Let me read my statement. The incorporators, we promised that after our victory on October 12, 2019, that we would defend your right to achieve the city of St. George in the courts. The legal fees that we've obtained has been in excess of $1.1 million. Those contributions have come from over 800 families and businesses that represent 1,700 individual contributions to this effort. I want to particularly notice our three large benefactors, Eddie Risponi, Art Barr, and Dan Hurd. Please stand, Dan, if you don't mind, please. Let me be clear and unequivocal. This journey, while everybody has participated, would not have been possible without these three benefactors. I also want to let you know that there was only one thing that the benefactors asked of us. That was to stay the course and to do it with integrity. And we think we've achieved that. The exodus of businesses and residents from East Baton Rouge Parish can now cease. The city of St. George will be a city that you are proud of. We're going to build a best-in-class, pace-setter community, a public-private partnership that you will be proud of. And future, not today, not tomorrow, eventually we will have our own independent school district. That's coming. After all, that's what we told we have to do. was to get a city and then to develop our school district. It's been more than 4.5 years of legal battles, and we've lost over $250 million in revenue to create our city. But let me also be clear, the future is bright. We need to move forward with where we are today, and we're going to create that city we promised to you. I want to also say that we're open for business. Anybody who felt left out of the boundaries, there's a lot of controversy about that. We're here to tell you today as the incorporators, if you're contiguous with the city of St. George, you're welcome with open arms. We're open for business. Finally, my final comment is this. Only in America can we dream as big as we want to. The city of St. George pledged as of last Friday, where the stars and the stripes and the eagle will fly. The challenges that we lay ahead for us requires the expertise of seasoned veterans who've been through these things like this before and have been successful in business. And that includes many of you that are in this audience today. We look forward to your input. Now, as we move forward, we want to continue to welcome you to the bright future of the city of St. George.
Now we're going to hear from the man who started it all. He's been here the longest, and he gets to see today. The chairman of the incorporation effort, Norman Browning.
Well, thank you. Congratulations to us. You all did a phenomenal job. You stayed the course with us. We can't be more appreciative. We accomplished a great goal. April 26, 2024 is a historical day. We formed the 5th largest city in this state. It preserved the citizens' vote. And that was a culmination of a lot of work, a lot of tireless hours by volunteers. It was a grassroots effort from the beginning. And it was you who did it, each and every one of you. Think back to those days when you were knocking on doors to get signatures, standing on the corner, waving signs, waving flags. That was a lot of effort. But you did it. You stayed the course. That campaign brought you a better government. I want to thank the volunteers for all that effort, because without it, it would never happen. It was your unwavering support. I also want to take this opportunity to thank our legal team. My gosh, it was unsurpassed expertise, a lot of strategic maneuvering. Mainly, it was a job well done. Thank you all. We talked about the financial support. All of you stepped up. It was unbelievable. Every time we came and asked, you were there. My heartfelt thank you for that. So now, Mayor Broom.
President Broom. Correction, she's not our mayor.
Mayor Broom. We too want to unify East Baton Rouge Parish. So with this, we believe it's the start of building a vibrant and thriving parish. So I hold out my hand in fellowship in hopes that we can work forward to a smooth transition. So I guess now, as your chairman, I deserve the right to welcome you to the city of St. George. Thank you.
and now a council member whose entire district now encompasses the city of St. George, and for a long time, literally maybe our only supporter on the Metro Council that's not Lord Adam, Mr. Dwight Hudson.
I want to first say how encouraging it is to see all of you here today. I'm looking at some folks out in the audience, like the Cooks, like the Legrands, the Dorans, others. There's so many of you to point out that I can't do it. But there's so many of you who embarked on this journey with such selfless interest. For my wife and I, we actually got started in this process about 13 years ago, before we had kids, as we were starting to try to have kids. And we said, we know we want to live in an area with a great school district. And so let's join in this effort and let's get started. But several of the folks that I mentioned, and many more of you, have kids that have already graduated from that system, or you didn't have kids at all, maybe you were grandparents, and you never were going to have the chance to take part in the school system part of it. But you participated anyway. You went out there and stood for days and days on end, collected signatures, you walked the neighborhoods, you did the work. And so thank you to all of you for all the effort that you've put in. I sat last night trying to think of an analogy or an example that I could use for what this effort has been and what it means. And I really thought about a bird. A bird, as it's coming out of that shell, it's a struggle, right? And I think that's what we've really participated in here, is a struggle with getting this new municipality started. But that process that the bird goes through, coming out of that shell, is a process. It's there for a reason. It helps develop muscles. It helps to build the strength that it needs to fly. I can tell you all, with this type of leadership in place with the transition district, with the support of all of you, the city of St. George is ready to fly, and we're ready to get to work. Thank y'all.
Well, it's been a hell of a journey, huh? 13 years. I'm a relative newcomer to this effort. I've only been here for 5 years. To Dwight's point, a lot of us have a reason for being involved in this effort, this movement, whether it was the creation of a better school, lowering crime, making the community safer, creating more opportunities, tired of seeing your friends and family leave to go to other parishes in other states. How many people here have kids who now live out of state somewhere? Wouldn't you like them to live closer to home? Yes. And now they'll have that opportunity. We looked at our neighbor in Central. We said, hey, can we do this better? And we looked at our neighbor in Central and said, well, apparently we can. And it's not even that far away. It's a better model of government. It's a modern model of government. We don't have to make the mistakes of our ancestors and forefathers. We can create something now from the ground and build it up. And now we can do this together. Whether you were for St. George or you were against St. George, now is your opportunity, a historic opportunity, to create a city from the beginning, from the ground up. It's your ideas, it's your policies, it's your way of life. And now you can come together and put those out there and have someone accountable to you. No longer accountable to some people off in the city of Baton Rouge or somewhere else in the parish. No, they're going to be accountable to you, your neighbors, your friends, and your coworkers. So when you have your ideas, whether, again, you're against us or for us, bring them. Let's create a better city. Let's work together. Let's move past this. Because as Chris alluded to, we're not done. We're just getting started. And now you got a time to be there and be a part of it. I do want to thank the legal team. They have endured so much to get to this process. They've heard all this negativity all along the way in the press and from opposing counsel. They deserve recognition for their efforts to stay the course. And I'll take it a step further. Christy Peck is here. Sherry Morris could not be here today, and Jim Bradford could not be here today. Mark and Marcus Plaisance were instrumental in writing one of the briefs, and also Robert Ainsworth from my office. Truly an amazing team that worked together. We developed 2 different briefs on 2 different grounds, and we went to the Supreme Court. We took on the aristocracy of this parish who does not want it to change. They are going to fight you tooth and nail to keep the status quo, and we won. And that is a testament to you. Thank you. So we will take questions in a minute, but I'll go ahead and field one of my own. What's next? So we've celebrated. Today is the end of that celebration. We're going to work. Everyone in this room, if you're here and you support St. George, or again, like I said, if you're against St. George, let's go to work. We have a St. George Transition District. We're going to create the best amount of services, the most efficient services for the best amount of money. We're creating a world-class city. When you enter the city of St. George, you will know you are somewhere special immediately. And we're going to work together to do that. So the Transition District is going to work. Soon, hopefully Governor Landry will appoint a mayor and city council. It will also go to work creating those ordinances, the zoning, the planning, and the permitting, addressing some of the concerns we've had a long time about how government functions and how it needs to function. So we're going to work, and we want you to be a part of that process. So reach out, attend our meetings, give us ideas, send us emails, give us phone calls. Don't stop holding us accountable. For 13 years, we have made promises that we're going to create a better government for you. Hold us accountable. Keep those promises. And should anyone ever stray from that, hold us accountable. You deserve better, and you worked for it, and now you're getting better. Welcome to the city of St. George. All right, news media, go. Ask you know what? Forget that. News media doesn't like us. Does anyone in the room have questions about St. George moving forward? Way in the back.
I just got a quick question about the annexations of people that annexed the city of Baton Rouge after the vote, like Women's Hospital, big tax revenue generator, 225 acres. I believe they annexed in 2021 to the city of Baton Rouge. I believe wrong. What happens with the property owners that annexed after the vote? Are they going to have to come back to the city of St. George?
Two-part long answer. One, subject to litigation currently. Simple as that. Number two, I would say if you thought you wanted to be in Baton Rouge, you may want to rethink that decision. You have the opportunity to stay in St. George. I would seriously consider that if I were a business or a homeowner. Well, first of all, our taxes are lower. I mean, that's the property tax bill. I can read that. Second, you have an opportunity to create a city. If you're happy with what you're getting in Baton Rouge, then by all means, I guess that's for you. But you've got an opportunity to create St. George a city that's accountable to you. Why would you want to leave that? So if you're thinking about coming back, I would suggest you talk to your lawyer in that lawsuit and ask them to withdraw. Yes, sir.
Are we going to try and go after the 2% of the millions of dollars of tax money that has been tied up in the courts for 4.5 years that Baton Rouge has spent? Are we going to try and get it back?
Well, I'll tell you, everything's on the table, right? I mean, that's the easiest answer I can give you without going into further details, but everything's on the table at this point. Yes, if our lawful election was not overturned and it wasn't challenged for any reason other than they wanted to tie us up for several years, I would say everything's on the table. Mr. Doran.
For our contiguous neighbors in the unincorporated areas, is there a time frame set up for when they can start contemplating asking for annexation in St. George?
Well, I should say they should always contemplate it. They should do their research on their own and come to the conclusion of where they want to be. If that does ultimately be determined to be the city of St. George, I would suggest, as time goes by and our city council's appointed and our transition districts moving forward, there will be a process outlined at some point in the future to allow that to happen as we're moving forward as a city. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
My question is about the school district.
Yes.
I have young kids who have already started in schools. I'm not talking about future generation. I'm talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of chaos in my mind, not knowing what their academic future is going to look like in St. George. We have a lot of theories, but I have plans. My kids are in Blue Ribbon magnet schools right now, and I love their academic trajectory. They've made great classmates and friends since kindergarten, and to be suddenly ripped from this, it really scares me. I'm not an enemy of anybody. I'm a transplant to the city.
I got you.
So I don't understand a lot of this, but I'm concerned for my kids' academic future in the right now.
Okay,
Right? I understand you're trying to form a new district and it's going to be better, but right now, what does that mean for me nothing equivalent in any map that you would draw right now if we don't have access to those magnets.
Let's go to that last comment. Say it one more time. There's not an equivalent level of school in the map in the St. George area?
Right now at this
Huh.
point, that's equivalent to the magnet school.
Huh. Isn't that a problem? Why isn't there an equivalent school in the St. George?
I just wanna-
I agree. No, I agree.
I don't wanna-
But now you're getting back to the onus of the school. Number one, we created a city. We have not created a school district. They are two distinct, separate animals. They have separate budgets, separate leadership structures. But I would be dishonest if I didn't tell you what's next on the agenda would be the creation of the St. George School District, which is long overdue in a parish that is near dead last, in a state that is near dead last in the country in education. My concern is for all the children to have a quality opportunity for education, and that's the onus of why we started this effort. Moving forward, it takes a long time to create a school district. It's not created overnight. So I can't give you a time frame, and I can't give you a process. I can only tell you at this point, it's definitely on our radar. It's definitely something we're thinking about. But today is about a process of starting the city. It did not create a school district today. Your child's not going anywhere today. But I will say, as someone who's gone to public schools his entire life, I don't know why kids can't all go to school together. I have a huge problem with that. You know, I went to school with all kinds of kids, at all different academic levels, all different ethnicities, all different backgrounds, and we were all able to get a quality education without having to go across town to go get it. And so for me, that's a personal issue. But as far as the group goes, school system would be on our radar, but I mean, we're talking a few years as far as from zero to accomplishment.
Drew, can I add something?
Yes,
to that?
absolutely.
There's a false narrative in the media that says the Southeast Baton Rouge Community School District is going to immediately be approved. That is not true. That only incorporates about half of the city of St. George. Why would we want to push a new school district when it only includes half of our citizens? So that old school district, as far as we're concerned, is dead. There's no one trying to push that school district. And as Drew just articulated, it's going to take time. What are the boundaries? That has to be decided. All of that takes time. But as he said, this group is focused right now on doing the city, and so we don't have time to start working on a new school district. That will be coming in the future. What it looks like, we don't know, but there are a lot of moms who are concerned about my children today, tomorrow, in the fall, may be going to a different school. Let me dissuade you and dissuade the public. Let's just stop that narrative, right? That's not going to happen. Does that help?
Yeah, because it's a lot to take in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir, Pastor.
Do we anticipate when the governor might make appointments for various positions?
Pastor, I am not going to answer for the governor. No, it's his purview. It's his will and pleasure. He can appoint those interim mayor and city council at his convenience. I mean, he's got a lot going on right now, but we would hope, ideally, for us to move forward sooner than later. Yes, ma'am.
The Chief Justice of the Louisiana Supreme Court, in his dissent,
No one reads dissents. I kid. Go ahead.
I read it in its entirety.
Excellent.
That the current plan to provide services does not meet the requirement, in his opinion. When will the taxpayers of St. George see the detailed city plan explaining what services will be provided? Because I've heard the ancillary answers, oh, we're gonna provide what we can afford, and I've seen the projected revenue of 48 million, and then commensurate cities in this state have budgets of 100 million more.
Goodness.
So I'm trying to do the math.
All right.
Monroe, Louisiana.
Let me stretch. Hold on.
Go ahead and stretch, boo. Monroe, Louisiana is gonna be smaller enough.
This isn't a question. This is testimony. Let me help you.
No, I'm asking.
I'm telling you, because I've told you for years now.
Monroe has $140 million of revenue, and everyone around here is bragging about 48 million. Monroe is smaller than
What?
that. They have infrastructure already. How are we gonna build a city, as you say, with $48 million of revenue? Monroe's sales tax revenue is 9.1 million, and so we're banking on 48 million of revenue, and that means to me that the profit, because I live in Sandy Springs, in Georgia, and I was there when they built that city, and I saw the reasons for why they built that city. So I have a very vested interest. My daughter is also in the Blue Ribbon School, and I do not want her to be forced to move outside of my interest. I moved here after the vote, was done. I was not a resident of St. George at that time. I bought my home here not knowing anything about this. So there are a lot of people who are just like me. I've been talking to them on the phone since Friday, and we want to know what is going to be done. We're forming this city, and we want to know how we're going to take $48 million and build this signature city when other cities of this size have budgets way bigger than that.
Okay.
And we want to know if the property taxpayers are going to bear the brunt of that.
Okay, first and foremost, welcome to the city of St. George. And because you're in the city of St. George, you have a vested interest now in how we move forward, which means we invite you to participate.
I'll be there.
Absolutely. And I want your ideas and I want your contributions. It sounds like you got one. You got some contributions to make. So we're welcoming that. Number two, what you're missing is our property tax revenue plus that sales tax revenue is what generates the budget and provides the services for the city of St. George. That number is estimated around $130 million.
Okay, we haven't seen that. Where's
You have. It's on the budget. It's on our website. It's on the information we put out there. And it's also conveniently located in the majority opinion, which said we had ample money to provide the services. Now, what would also be horrifying to you is to realize what has been paying for the services in St. George up till now. What revenue have they been using in Baton Rouge to provide our services? They haven't been using $48.3 million. They've been using less than that, according to the majority opinion of the court. So we intend on providing that world-class city, and our budget indicates we can do that and run a surplus. We can improve services and run more efficiently. Something also noted in the majority opinion was, even if you use their numbers, we still run at a surplus now. Even using the opposition's numbers and their testimony and their witnesses and their evidence, we're still running at a surplus. And then the opinion went a step further. And it said, that's using Baton Rouge's math and Baton Rouge's expenses. That doesn't include the idea that you could run it more efficiently, you can provide better services more efficiently with a public-private partnership. Our number is far dramatically less expense-wise because we feel like, and this is true, also in the majority opinion, that our tax dollars have been taken for years and used to subsidize the city of Baton Rouge for services we do not get and do not enjoy. So in theory, if Baton Rouge has taken our money to use it and we're getting the services we get now, that means we subsidize Baton Rouge, not the other way around.
But that's also where most of the people in this room work. So
Well,
it's not
that's the reason it's going to make the parish better.
It's not going into a black hole. It's going to where most of the people here work.
Well, this is the reason why we're going to make the parish better. Without us, more people will continue to leave the parish, as has been happening now for quite a while. Chris Riles quote, they've been voting with their feet for a long time by leaving. This is why Ascension Parish and Livingston Parish are thriving, because everybody's leaving for better opportunities. If we're successful, as we promised, or we said we will be, those people don't have to leave anymore. They can come back. And when they come back, they live here, their sales tax dollars stay here, their businesses are located here. And for example, my office is in the city of Baton Rouge. So guess what? Me living here means I get to pay taxes to the parish. I contribute. I eat in Baton Rouge. I go to events in Baton Rouge. This is a reciprocal benefit that St. George gives the entire community. How do I know it works? Central. How is Central doing? 4 times the budget. They're increasing revenue for the entire parish. Yes, ma'am. Oh, sorry. Yes. Second question first.
You summarized the question. We couldn't hear it.
Oh, okay. So I'll start with the second question. You're asking about, are we going to consolidate with Central? And I would ask, what define consolidation? Are you talking about in the future where we could maybe go into a cooperative endeavor agreement for some services? Or are you thinking we're going to combine into one massive city of success?
Let me rephrase. Why does the boundary on the north end of the city of St. George go up this Amy River? And also, did your original documents that indicated that 91% of your budget was dependent upon sales tax?
Well, I was starting with the second question so I can repeat it to everyone else. So you're asking about the little tail that goes up and touches Central and Amite River. One, Amite River, lovely water body. Two, I do want to touch the city of Central. What if there's a future where we can cooperate and work together on providing some services? It gives you the option, and why wouldn't you have more options than less options?
Okay.
Is that
Your original budget document,
okay?
that indicated 91% of your budget was dependent upon sales tax revenue. Is that still the estimated budget?
Okay, so the first question that we're now getting to is, our budget says 91% of our revenue is generated by sales tax revenue only. Is that correct? Chris?
Yes, so let's be clear on the budget for the city of St. George. There's a lot made relative to comparisons to other cities. Some cities holistically have school districts. We do not. Some districts don't have county or parish-wide activities. We do. So how much in the way of taxes is being paid by the residents of the city of St. George? In 2002, $106 million were paid by residents of property taxes that goes to the parish. The parish then provides that services to everyone in the parish, such as EMS, such as the tax assessor, such as the libraries, all the council on aging. We participate in that. And I would tell you that we over-participate, is that we pay more money in the parish-wide than we receive in services. And we're fine with that. So when you're comparing us to other cities, take that $50 million, add 103, and you have what that number is, $156 million. So that's the total amount of taxes that are paid by the residents of St. George. So relative to the 2-cent sales tax, to your question, the 91%, so what's left is the 2-cent sales tax that the transition district said will be remanded back to the city of St. George. Out of that revenue, we will provide the incremental services that are not funded and are not provided by the city parish. So it's in that arena, whenever you strip back and you look at the services that we are going to provide, that's where we've noticed in our budget, and a large percentage of our dollars, as Drew said, goes to pay for the Baton Rouge Fire Department, the Baton Rouge Fire Department pension, the Baton Rouge Police Department, the Baton Rouge Police Department pension. We got no services for that. That money comes back to us. That 2-cent sales tax stays here. It's local. It's better government. It's local control of your tax dollars. So I just want to put that in a frame and in a total perspective. That answers your question.
Well, I'll give you a short answer. The $48.3 million is the general fund revenue available to St. George.
It's a yes or no question. Is 91%?
No, it's really not.
No.
Is 91% of your projected budget?
No.
Your original documents based on?
As Chris told you, you have to combine the property tax revenue generated by the St. George property taxpayers plus the general fund revenue, which is $48.3 million. And those two numbers comprise the entire total budget available to the city of St. George for all the services that are intended to be provided.
I was basing myself on documents that your organization provides.
I would suggest you check out the majority opinion written by the Louisiana Supreme Court. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
Yeah, looking ahead to a point where you all possibly will be able to form your own school district, if we're sitting with this in the future, if we're sitting with a situation where we're sitting with 2 separate school districts on one big parish, would you all be willing to consider, with school choice being like such a big thing right now, would you all be willing to consider allowing parents within the St. George city limits to allow their kids to attend a very specialized program, be it for disability services, magnet programs, charter programs? Would you all be willing to allow them to continue to go to those schools in East Baton Rouge, or would you be forcing them to stay within schools in Baton Rouge and St. George so that the money that follows those students would also then stay in St. George?
Let me answer.
I got a quick response to it. It's not we. It's actually you, and you, and you, and you. This is the city of St. George. If there's a school district created for whether it's called Southeast Baton Rouge School District or St. George School District, it's you, the homeowners in the city of St. George, that dictate what happens with your school system. I will have nothing, no part of that process. Well, I can only tell you what happened historically with the city of Central, and Central offered to allow those children to finish their academic careers in EBR Parish, and EBR Parish told them no. So you may want to have conversations with the EBR Parish School Board along the same lines as we're having today.
Would you all be willing to allow
I'm not going to be on the school board.
St. George be willing to allow them
It was in the original,
It's actually, if you go back to the 2013 bill that was passed that created the Southeast Baton Rouge School District, that was in the bill that we passed, was to allow your children to finish at the school they're at.
specialized program.
Specialized programs in high schools. We're talking about the city today, but I mean, look, here's the thing. Let me say, look, I understand completely, and I hope everyone who has children in this room has the same feeling about their children's academic career as you do. I sure as hell hope so. And part of that reason is why we went out to create a school district in the first place, was we all had concerns about our kids' academic careers, and we wanted to live in a place where all of our kids have the same academic opportunities, regardless of any other factor out there. And that's one of the impetuses of why we created the city. It is. And we're going to move on at some point and move forward to create this school district. You're going to have input in that. I would ask you to show up and be a part of that process and be a part of creating this city so you can be a part of that process and have a say in it. We may even put these same programs you love so much in the independent school district for St. George. And I'd love for you to be a part of that.
We're here to talk about the city.
So we are going to talk about the city of St. George. We want to move on back to that because that's where we are now. Yes.
Hi. Before I go into my question, I just want to offer the conversation about schools needs to be a whole separate.
Completely agree.
I feel like that would just appease the needs there.
I agree. I agree.
My question, I really want to move on to St. George now.
Yay.
My question is around the public-private partnership. Like, would you see like it being like an 80-20 split? Like, what services specifically would be privatized? Because I heard you say the notion about us subsidizing what services are needed. So just really.
Well, we're subsidizing Baton Rouge's services. So public-private partnerships exist based on the need, based on the ability, and based on the provider. So in places where it makes sense, you don't ever have a hard and fast rule that it's got to be all or nothing. You do it where it makes the most sense for the citizens of St. George. One of our goals is to make sure that every time we make a decision moving forward, that the citizens' best interest is the only interest we have. So if that means it's a public entity doing it, great. If that means it's privatized, great. Our goal, because privatization benefits not just the government, not just the taxpayers, it benefits you, the business owner, because you're the ones providing those services. So instead of some government employee doing it and the government's doing it, it's you that gets to go home and make money off the services you can provide as long as you provide them well and as long as you provide them efficiently and affordably. So the idea would be not a hard and fast 80-20, 60-40. No, it's what's best for the citizens of St. George. And there'll be times where we won't be able to privatize it. But if we can, that should be the goal.
May I put something on this, please? I just wanted to show you the document that the Transition District has been working on for the last 4 years. It's a 150-page document dealing with the request for proposals and qualifications for contractors to do exactly what the City of Central has done, that is specified for the City of St. George. We have every street listed. We have every place that needs to be mowed, every place that needs to be taken care of for weed control. We're going to have our own Planning and Zoning Commission. And for many of you here today who have had the unfortunate experience of trying to get the city parish to not create annexations against you or redevelop things that you don't like, you're going to have your own planning and zoning district. You're going to show up and tell your zoning commissioners what you want in your city. That is a huge change from where things are today. This document is prepared. It's ready for the new mayor and the new council to approve, review and approve. It's duplicated off of what the City of Central has given to us. They have been strong advocates and helped us develop this document. And so I just want the citizens to know that we've been working for the last 4 years on a plan. It's time for your input, and it's time for you to us to execute that plan. We have not been sitting by idly to prepare for this day. We're ready to go.
Any more city questions? Yes, ma'am.
I know that you're waiting on the governor to appoint, but any names being thrown out for mayor, council, things like that?
No, that's up to the governor and his purview, his will and pleasure. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
So in the late 80s and around the early 90s, there was a change to the plan of government, and then the adoption of a Horizon plan that actually allowed, before that, city revenue could only be spent within city limits on
if you don't think we've compensated the city of Baton Rouge, I mean, you gotta.
I'll answer this. Ma'am, in the early 90s, there was a document called the Local Services Agreement that was penned by the Metropolitan Council at that time. What the Local Services Agreement did essentially was allow all excess revenue on the parish side to be swept into the city budget at the end of the year. This isn't conjecture, this is fact. In the early 90s, that number was around level, and over time, that number increased. When we first started the St. George Incorporation movement in 2013, we sat down and went through it line by line, and at that point, excess revenue in the parish that was being used for city services at that time was about $50 million. That number has increased since then, and they didn't like us looking into their numbers so much that in 2014 they changed the way they did their budget. It used to be lined out where you saw everything that was paid for in the city, everything that was paid for in the parish, and if you go and look at the budget today, it's no longer like that. Just so everybody understands that the Local Services Agreement is a real thing. It's a real document. It's existed for over 30 years now. And if you added up all the money, excess revenue that was taken from the parish and went into the city, I'd have to imagine that you're knocking on the doorstep of somewhere of $1 billion.
Yeah, let's be clear. The entities in East Baton Rouge Parish do not want to have a court case involving who paid for what. I promise. Well, I am glad that did not happen. And while I enjoy good parliamentary procedure, let's go back and talk about that for a second. Who had the opportunity to annex the unincorporated area for the last 50 years? Baton Rouge did. Did they want it? Did they do it? No. They didn't, because that came with responsibilities to the citizens. They wanted the tax dollars without the responsibility. Now they don't get to have either. All right, anybody got a last question? Oh, of course, you can ask any question you want. As a member of the news media, here in Charlotte, ladies and gentlemen. In St. George, she's allowed access to everything. She's got more followers than the other channels anyway. Sorry, cheap shot.
When does the annexation take place? I know that's been a question. Does it retro to November of 2019? Is it Friday? When does the annexation?
You're talking about as far as the annexation, adding properties.
You're talking about the incorporation.
I mean, so when is the date of incorporation, I believe is the question, correct? Yes. Okay. Maybe subject to some debate. I'll throw it out there. November 23rd, 2019. That is the date the election results from October 12th, 2019 were certified as final. That should be the incorporation date. Any effort to stall our incorporation that failed should relate back to that day. That's just my 2 cents, and it's worth about that much. All right, I'll take one more. Fine. I like talking. All right, so let's start there. The question was simple stuff like the garbage service that the city of Baton Rouge has been providing. Not correct. The city of Baton Rouge does not provide garbage service to the area now known as St. George. East Baton Rouge Parish property taxes provide for that. We pay for our garbage service. We provide our garbage service. Dwight, you want to talk about garbage real quick?
They always give the garbage to the council.
So the garbage contract is funded through a enterprise fund, and so it's its own dedicated revenue within budget. You pay that fee on your water bill, and so it will continue to be provided parish-wide on a parish-wide contract, unless the city of St. George comes and wants to do something different. But that service, at least in the interim, certainly shouldn't change, and you'll continue to receive it.
Hope that clarifies a little bit. Guys, we want to thank you really honestly. For those who have been in this effort and have done the sweat equity, the blood, sweat, tears, money, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You made your city possible. Thank you. It's been 13 years. They thought you would give up every step of the way. We're going to change the laws. We're going to change the rules midstream. We're going to fight you. We're going to have misinformation in the mail every day up until election time. We're going to challenge you in a lawsuit. We're going to bleed you dry. Well, we're here, and you're here, and we have a city now. So today is the last time we talk about the process leading up to St. George. We're moving forward. We're moving on. We're creating a world-class city. To those of you that are here that clearly are not supportive of it or have concerns, welcome to the city of St. George. Come see us. Come work with us. Come learn about us. Come contribute to us. We want to move forward. We're tired of the fighting. It didn't benefit anybody. Our parish is 4.5 years behind where we should be right now because we had to delay our start. So give us an opportunity, be a part of the process, and more importantly, if you live in St. George, put your stamp on this city. One time in your life, you'll get to create a city, and that's right now. Reverend?
Yes, sir. Drew,
Yes, sir.
when is our next transitional meeting that we need to be here to help you to move forward?
Okay, very good. At this point, we're going to have transition district members will be reappointed. That process will begin again. Our traditional meeting dates have been the second Monday of each month, starting at 4:30 right here in this room. We'll put out agendas. We'll have public commentary. You can contribute ideas before, after, during that meeting. We live stream them on our Facebook page. I'd be remiss if before we stop, I did not thank Chief Tarleton. So give him a round of applause. He was great. You know, for somebody that runs the fire department, he likes putting himself in the fire all the time. He has endured all the commentary from the public and the public officials that hated the idea that he might be open to us, open to something better. He fought it. He supported us the entire time. There's a reason our meetings are here. There's a reason our meetings will continue to be here. And it's in large part due to the St. George Fire Department. And if you want to see what the city of St. George can do, this fire department's the example. Tell me a better fire department in the country. So if we can have leadership like that, we'll be fine. So thank you very much for coming out. Again, I want to welcome you to the city of St. George and looking forward to a bright, bright future. Thank you.